Hi, and welcome. My name is Cade Gordon, and you're watching the Cade Gordon Podcast. We have a very special guest today, so thank you for watching. Hello and welcome back. Today we have a very special guest with us. It is the quarterback of the Texas Wesleyan football team, Cole Francis. Hi Cole, how are you doing?
Good, Cade. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Thanks
good.
for having me.
I'm doing good, of course. So Cole, we're going to start out and I want to talk about your life a little bit. So where did you grow up? Tell me a bit about that.
So I was born in Houston, Texas,
Okay.
Which a lot of people know Houston. And then I moved, or my family lived in Cade, but I was born in Houston. But so grew up in Cade my entire life, up until college, basically. I had a bunch of family from Louisiana, so I've always was going back and forth between Louisiana, Mississippi, and Cade with family being all over there. But most of my life, really, if not all of it, lived, in Cade, Texas.
Awesome. A little bit along the lines of that, when did you start playing football? What got you into playing football?
I want to say it was probably when I was like 4 or 5 years old, to be honest. My parents were just putting me in all the sports, kind of seeing what stuck. So probably, I played flag football, started with that, just playing I-9 was what they called it then. And my dad said the way I kind of got into quarterback-wise was just like that I was one of the only ones kind of out there that kind of knew what was going on. And they're like, hey, you're going to play quarterback. And that's kind of just, it's been history from there.
Yeah. So continuing on the lines of that, you grew up in Cade. Where'd you go to high school?
Cade Tompkins. So it's within Cade. We have now 10 schools in our district, Cade ISD.
Wow.
But yeah, I went to Cade Tompkins, which at the time when I was there, they opened in 2017. So or 2014, sorry, I think. So I got there in 2018. So not many years after they had opened. So still a pretty new program. But we had great success there, and it was super fun. I loved it, and all my friends, grew up with all of them. So it was awesome, but loved it.
So you preceded Jalen Milroe, who is now currently in the NFL, actually. So that's something cool, a cool little story. Side note, do you still keep in contact with him at all? Or?
Not too much. Briefly, like on like birthdays or something like that. But there's not too much communication. But I'll wish him like the best before something comes up, like before the draft or games and stuff.
Of course. Which that's super cool. So you go to Cade Tompkins, and I remember us talking a while back about this, but you didn't start until your senior year. How did you navigate that as a quarterback with specifically in high school, your junior year really being important for recruiting? How did you personally navigate that experience?
Yeah, so my freshman year, playing the freshman team and stuff, and then freshman to sophomore year, I broke my arm. So that kind of was a little bit of a setback, but like you said, Jalen was there, so it made it a little rough to kind of get reps at that point, but kind of just took advantage of all I had. So my sophomore year, I backed up on varsity, and then my junior year, we knew Jalen was a year older than me, and we knew after when I got to my senior year that I would most likely be the starter, assuming I won the competition. Yeah. And so they said, okay, we're going to put you back on JV your junior year, so then you can get reps and play. And we had like a 10-0 JV season, like first ever undefeated season. It was so much fun. Got to play every game and stuff, get a lot of reps. And then senior year, like you said, then I got to start. And really, like you said, quarterback's all about reps, so it was really just taking advantage of any chances I got. So I got to go in some games my sophomore year when we were up by a good amount, or his helmet came off, or injuries or anything like that.
Of course.
But it was really that it came down to like a mental reps and preparation outside of the game, because I wasn't getting too many reps that like on the field. So I had to take advantage of those reps in film, the reps when I was watching huddle, things like that. Yeah. So it was really a lot of off the field preparation that made it so when we got on the field, the reps I did get, I had to take full advantage of. Yeah,
that's great. So you play your senior year, and I think I remember you telling me as well that you broke your wrist at the end of your senior year in your final playoff game. How was that experience? Talk me through a little bit of the injury that you had there and everything.
Oh, and let me answer a little bit about the recruiting piece also.
Course.
Yeah, sorry. So the recruiting, especially like you said, junior year is big for recruiting. I kind of just had to just go with the flow with come with whatever I could, talk to some friends and see if they could help with connections and stuff like that, and really just trusting God and myself to go out there and do what I knew I could do with the abilities that He gave me. And at senior year, thankfully, Texas Wesleyan came around and was able to work through that. And thankfully, my parents helped me, reach out to coaches and stuff like that. Sorry, repeat the next question. What was the next piece?
So, you got injured your senior year.
So about the senior year game. We were playing North Shore at Glenna Park, which if anybody knows their stadium or layout, which I don't know if people do, they have their football field, and then it's about like 5 to 10 yards of turf for the sideline, and then they have basically like a concrete-looking track around their field, which is it's kind of close to the field, but So it was a little awkward distance, but it was the I want to say the start of the second half, like first series, and I pull the ball on a run. I'm running to the sideline. I get out of bounds, and a guy comes and smokes me late, and I hit on the concrete, and I hit and it just snapped my wrist back, and I'd slid a little bit. But I mean, ended up being sadly my last ever high school game. But I mean, at the time, I was like, like there's no going out. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I looked down and my hand was doing like this or something like that. But it was like, there was so much we had prepared for and so much we had done all season that I knew I couldn't just give up and go out, like, especially for the guys I was playing with and for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a brotherhood and a family that I was on that team. I felt like I was best friends and brothers with all those guys. So I just knew I couldn't let any of them down by going out. So I just kind of just pushed it to the side. And then after the game, I remember we would high-five our fans after the game. My mom's there, and I high-fived her, and I was like, hey, I think my wrist is broken. And I kept walking. She was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but ended up being, thankfully didn't have to get surgery or anything. I'll just put it in a cast, and they just or a brace, and they just basically set it, and it was all good. But yeah, it was definitely an experience.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the recruiting process, and I think the fact that you were willing to wait until your senior year to play is just a testament of the player you are and the team player that you are as well. And so we talked a little bit about recruiting. What brought you to Texas Wesleyan University?
Yeah, so it was a big culture thing. I mean, high school, our head coach preached a lot on culture. So we were very big on like preaching our core values and things like that, and that's what builds a program. Having the foundation is a really strong culture. And so when I was going to recruiting visits and stuff, I went to some places that are the crazy facilities and stuff like that, super cool uniforms, all this stuff, but the culture wasn't as strong. Whereas I came here, and we were building the facilities, but the culture was already pretty set and pretty strong. And that really was one of the biggest things to me was, okay, I want to go to a place where there is a strong set culture with a head coach that enforces those core values, because it gives us something to build off of, something to lean back on. And I really felt that when I came here. And like we talked about, it's a lot easier to build facilities than it is to build a culture.
Yeah.
And in the 4 or 5 years that I knew I was going to be here, I wanted to have that culture set so I could come in and I'll build on top of that culture. And if facilities come along with it, then facilities come along with it. So.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background information on Cole so far. A couple weeks ago was that Louisiana Christian?
Yes.
Louisiana Christian, Cole threw for 526 yards. And in actually last season, Cole threw for, I believe, 7 touchdowns against Arkansas Baptist. Or maybe that was 2 seasons ago.
Maybe 2 ago, I think.
2 seasons ago. Yeah. So he holds multiple school records at the quarterback position. And he did the first one as technically a backup and got to start a game because of injury, and then didn't start the beginning of this season, and then due to circumstances now the starter for the past 4 or 5 games here at Texas Wesleyan. And so I wanted to ask you, you're a senior in the classroom right now, I believe.
Yes,
redshirt junior, I believe is what you're considered.
On the field,
So you've got another year of eligibility after this, and I know that you worked so hard to get to the position you're at now. Did your high school experiences help you navigate waiting in college to get the starting position?
Yes, 100%. Because I think it's definitely a little bit easier, I'd say, because a lot of guys, go and they start 3 years in high school and they come here and now they're at the bottom of the depth chart working their way up. And it's really hard for them to see, what do you mean I have to wait? I was just the guy.
Yeah.
And I got to be the guy for 1 year in high school and kind of waited my turn and led in the positions that I could. So coming here, I kind of was like, hey, I want to be the guy, obviously immediately, but I understood the learning aspect and the taking my time, and when God's timing for me to take over is when it happens and stuff like that. And so I think 100% high school prepared me for just doing my role, and like we talked about here, doing our 111th, just whatever position I was in, whether that's 100%. On the field, I'm signaling off the field, or I'm just helping out with whatever I can. So I think 100% high school definitely prepared me for this.
Yeah. So you talked about being the guy a little bit. Explain what that means to you to be the guy of a college football program.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I love it. It's definitely a confidence builder. I'd say, with the coaches, with the players, knowing you have the confidence of every player and every coach behind you. Yeah. It really it gives you it levels you up almost, gives you another step of because I mean the quarterback is really the quarterback position is a lot built on confidence. Yeah. Because a quarterback without confidence is going to make many throws. He's not confident he can make it. But if you have quarterback confidence, I can throw anything in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So having that and being we said the guy it's just it's a great feeling to have with the confidence that I'm able to walk on the field with now. Not a cockiness, but a confidence to know that 100%. We're going to go out there and we're going to whoop this team because I believe in us and I believe in the Rams and what we've done all week and stuff like that. And it also with the leadership aspect, I led as much as I could from the position I was, but now that I'm stepped up into this role, it's allowed for more leadership opportunities, which I've loved. And it's also fun, you know, being like partially the face and stuff like that, and getting to do certain things like that. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah. So you brought up your faith a little bit. Walk me through how that has paired with your leadership role. How do you use your faith to lead young men and prepare athletes for games and navigate the different environments, because we're student athletes, right? Like, we live 2 separate lives, really 3 outside of school completely. So how do you navigate leading a group of men, not only to play well, but also to God?
Yeah. Like you said, we're student athletes, and then we're followers of Christ first, which I think, and that's something I try to make very, very known with all I do. And I think that comes down to just like the simple things of just like, or like prayers before we go out and stuff like that, to the big things that some people are focusing on, as I am, like, is trying not to say certain things we know that, like, whether it's cussing or whether it's working on like anger, things like that, simple things like that. And I really try my best for people to see God through me and all of my actions. And I really try to, like we've done here, is bring God into a bunch of my conversations with a bunch of people on the team, knowing that whether it's going good or going bad, we're always giving glory to Him. And like you said, like, we're all young men on this team, and I really, again, when it comes down to it, God is the beginning and the end. So it's, you know, football and student athletes all a stage in our life, but God is eternal. And that's just something I want everybody to have the chance and the opportunity to see. So whether it's, you know, little one-on-one conversations, or it's like we get to do is pray for the entire team, things like that. It's really just taking every advantage and opportunity to talk about Him and bring Him up, because He is the way, the truth, and the light. So
yeah. So moving on and kind of wrapping it up a little bit, what other organizations are you involved in on campus?
So like we said, football, I'm a part of football, and then through FCA, I'm one of like the head football representatives in that, which our offensive coordinator, and then Dr. Carano, who's part of the kinesiology department here, runs. For chapel, I'm a chapel intern, so I get to help with the welcome and greeting team there. And then for SAC, which Dr. Gerloff runs, which is like a student athletic organization committee, me and Daniel Ibogan are the 2 football representatives, so there's 2 from every sport. And we come together once a month, and basically it's just we're the voice for our team. So our team can bring anything they have to us, then we can go talk to as a group. And then I'm also the boys conference representative for SAC. So every a couple or so months we have like a online conference meeting, and I'm the representative for that.
Okay.
I think that's all the organizations I'm a part of here.
Yeah,
so,
that's it. No, that's it. Just that many. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so final question here is, what has been your most memorable experience? Doesn't have to be football. It can be within school. It can be within your spiritual life. What has been your most memorable experience here at Texas Wesleyan University?
Oh, memorable. That's always such a hard question, because there's so many great things that have happened here.
Yeah, of course. Or give a couple if there's a couple.
I'll do it football and a non-football. So football, I mean, just really, so like you talked about when we got to throw for a bunch of yards against Louisiana Christian, that was just such a memorable game, because I really feel like that was the first time since I've been able to step into the starting position that everything's just kind of clicked with me and the receivers, the O-line, the running backs. And, you know, I couldn't have done any of it without them. You know what I mean? It's all testament to their work throughout the week as well. And just that feeling of, like, I knew kind of every throw that left my hand, I was like, I had the confidence that I could make any throw and that ball was going to be completed. And just the feeling after the game of being like with it being like our rivalry game and stuff, like, it was just so much fun. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, it really brings the joy into football. Like, you really, truly feel it. Because you practice so hard we practice 3 to 4 or 5 times a week. For one game, you know what I mean? Like, you practice significantly a lot more than you play, so to have it pay off is just amazing. And I'd say something outside of football, probably my freshman year. So we're in Stella dorms, which is like, if anybody knows Stella dorms, right? They've got like communal bathrooms. It's all like your big community, basically. And the entire 3rd floor is all football. And we're all just like, I don't even know what the reason was, but every single door is open, and we're all in the halls just talking. Like, it felt like a giant like get together. It was awesome, and like I think that was some of the most fun I've had and best relationships I've created then was my freshman year in those dorms. And I'd say everybody needs to do it their freshman year before moving off or anything like that, because now I've moved off campus. But it was so much fun just seeing, like, being able to walk from door to door, to walking in and out, and everybody's talking, like, everybody's just in each other's rooms. And me and Daniel were rooming together at that time, and we had such a cool room, and we'd always have people in ours, and it was just so much fun seeing all that.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate having you on.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Cade.
Yep. Hi, thank you for watching the Cade Gordon podcast. I appreciate you tuning in and listening to our special guest today. Thank you, and please subscribe and follow for more. And a special thanks to Ken Flowers and Cole Francis and myself. Thank you.